Should we be thinking about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more people need to be thinking about it and thinking carefully about it.
It's an issue, it's a solution, it's a response that's not going to go away. And so if we're not talking about it because we imagine that somehow the more science fiction elements of it will marginalize it, we would be foolish. So we need to be talking about that.
I think it's important to talk about because people who have power, who have the power to do it, are already talking about it. So if they're talking about it, the rest of us need to be talking about it.
I think we should be talking about it, but I think the proportion of time we spend talking about it should be very slim in comparison to all the other conversations we need to be having about how to ramp up the transition to renewable energy.
So I think it is important to start to talk about geoengineering as a complement to what we do, something that we should research right away. If there is a problem that we know is happening and we have tools, we will never ask ourselves, should we be using this? Should we be trying this? Should we be researching on this? The only reason we're doing this is because we have this backlog of policy and policy making.
What we don't want is for the conversation to be cut short, to be in the context of sort of emergency measures and an emergency time. We want to have a thoughtful conversation that is informed by scholarship, is informed by diverse voices. So the more work that political science and public policy people can do to understand how that conversation is shaping up, hopefully the better informed our politics will be when it finally confronts this issue.
The climate engineering conversation has to happen because it's upon us, but it should also happen because it could help us enhance our own thinking and our own sophistication with respect to the central question, which is how much technology, how much new technology, and what kind, deployed in what ways, by whom, serves the best interests of the planet and of justice and of people moving forward. And we just haven't been good about having that conversation in a kind of systematic and informed way, though it always comes up. The appropriate technology movement in the 1970s, the push toward renewables in the 1980s, driverless cars now. Technology is always out there as part of the conversation. So anything that helps us as regular people, as students, as academics, to begin to develop a little bit a better framework in our head about why some technologies should be embraced and others should be viewed with suspicion, that's a good conversation.
So if I tell you today we have 3 degrees of warming, but I don't want you to research on this technology that solves it, but that's never going to happen.
The way that people respond emotionally to descriptions of various geoengineering interventions really helps to highlight what we think about the planet, what we think about the climate, how we feel about what we've done to the climate. And those are really important to excavate and to examine so that we're not moving forward with all of these unspoken assumptions, with all of these hidden agendas. We need to really understand how we feel about the mess we've created first.